Hello again. I am back. I am back again for more MSQ. Let's see here. There we go. Everything's unmuted. I'd like to get at least the first to Zalphatol, which I think is a vague enough concept to not be a spoiler. So yeah, been a couple of days. I should have as long as I want tonight, so that's good. I'll be able to just keep going until my voice gives out, or I get really freaking sick and tired of like level 60 rotation in a content. Just playing Dragoon in general, I suppose. But last time we sort of kind of made peace with the dragons for all about 5 minutes before the shade of Nidhogg dropped out of the goddamn sky, possessing Estinian's body, and wiped out Varovnir. Not killed, luckily. That would have been a diplomatic nightmare. But for the time being, Varovnir's out, and our crusade against Nidhogg reignited. So, other things of note, Minflea's fucking dead. So that's not great. Sort of. Not actually dead. It's a little complicated. It's more like in null space. Become one with a Heidelin, and so doesn't really have their own agency, and their physical form is largely dispersed, and yada yada. I think it's sad about that. It's very unfortunate and understandable. And Alphino got taught a valuable lesson in the realities of fighting evil in the world, and the losses that is likely to incur. I'm a little hazy, but I believe we pick up right after we have a brief conversation about reaffirming our intents to at least attempt and save Estinian before coming back here. But I forget exactly what pretense led to this. I'm sure it'll come back to me reasonably quickly. Anyway, what news has Sir Emmerich to share with us, I wonder? Yes, I'm sure it would be much more sense last I streamed. Might Sir Emmerich perchance have received word of a Dravanian advance, or mayhap they have located that is to say, mayhap Nidhogg has been found. Come, I would hear what the Lord Commander has to say.
My friends, I thank you for coming.
Cough, cough.
You have had news of Nidhogg?
Alas not. Our scouts range far and wide, but they have as yet found no trace of the Great Worm.
We dispatched an elite unit of dragoons to reconnoiter the churning mists, but even they returned empty-handed.
A pity.
Fear not, Alphino. We shall see the worm again soon enough. His words at Falcon's Nest attest to that. Indeed, he is like to come sooner than we would wish.
I assume Ishgard's defenses are being bolstered as we speak?
With all haste. I mean to call upon every able-bodied warrior at our disposal, from the Knights of the Four Houses to the men and women of the Watch. But I did not summon you to discuss strategy.
What then would you have of us, my lord?
I will speak
diplomatic
plain.
mission.
Now that Nidhogg is possessed of both of his eyes, no mortal force we can muster will repel him. That being the case, we must needs recruit an ally of equal strength.
I mean, I'm already here. I'm
You
already going
speak
to do
of
it.
Hraesvelgr?
Oh, Hraesvelgr, of course, of course.
I do. To whom else could we turn?
That he is Nidhogg's equal, I do not deny. Nor can I name another. But convincing the reclusive creature to do battle with his own brood brother will be how shall I put this?
It will be no small undertaking, yes. Estinian's report was most particular about Hraesvelg's unwillingness to involve himself in the affairs of men. But much has changed since your visit to Somal. And if there is even a chance that the dragon may be swayed, I must plead our case. Whatever price the dragon asks of me, I shall pay it. Such was my oath, to defend the people of Ishgard. Come what may, my friends, the battle with Nidhogg will mark the end of my tenure as the acting head of church and state. Will you help me discharge this final duty?
I really hope that doesn't come through on stream. On a related note, if you would happen to know what exactly that is, and what I might do to stop that from happening, it happens in pretty much everything, randomly. I used to be able to see the NVIDIA control console appear in my task manager when it was happening. Not so much anymore. So yeah, just thought I'd scream out into the void once again. Who knows what may echo back. Anyway, back to our narrative shit. I broke it, it's fine.
We will, my lord, though I fear our involvement offers no guarantee of success. Come then, we will depart at your leisure.
Thank you. Both of you. The city is yours, First Commander.
My lord, we shall pray for your swift return.
The driver popping up leads me to think that it's drivers, but I don't really know how to reinstall my drivers, and looking up how to do it requires me to do things that I view as terrifying. I have a very likely unwarranted and desperate fear of bricking my PC. Yeah. I somehow doubt that Hraesvelgr will be pleased to see us, but for Estinian's sake and that of countless others, I suppose we must risk his displeasure. Caught it. It grieves me to impose upon you in this matter, but you of all people understand the threat we now face. There's no imposition, Sir Emmerich. To Arentel and I, Ishgard is as a second home. After the many battles we have fought and the bonds we have forged, the plight of your nation has become our own. If there is aught that we can do to aid in its salvation, then pray impose all you must. You are true friends. Shall we be about our task then? We have no way of knowing when Nidhogg's shade will strike, but we must assume that time is not our ally. Indeed, with that in mind, I have taken the liberty of dispatching a messenger to inform Mistress Nitaru that you will be escorting me to Somal. I confess I did not provide the exact details of our destination, as they are as yet unknown to me. We will summon Hraesvelgr and Zenith in the churning mists. Ere we begin our ascent, however, I think it best we pay a visit to Annick's shrine. You seek an advantage in the coming negotiations? I do. I would consult with Varofnir. I propose this in part out of concern for her condition. Were she to succumb to her wounds, it could have grave consequences for our alliance. That apart, she may be able to provide insight into her sire's current state of mind. Well reasoned. To the Durranian Forelands, then. Okay. I'm just gonna fly up there. What? There's a hole in the ceiling, right? This one, right? Flying really makes everything better, man. Ooh, it does bring up the question, though. And I'm curious enough about it to waste all of our time. Please forgive me. Okay, there's no one down here. Maybe look outside the gate? I'll go down to like about there, and if I don't see any NPCs, I'm gonna assume it's a no. Yeah, no luck. Okay, fair enough. Ever on the hunt for NPCs that I missed the side dialogue of my first time through. One of the only real sources of blind reacts from my playing through this. Wait, where's that guy? My curiosity is... Wait, was that me? Well, that's 100%. Oh, there he is. Look at him. What a guy. Where's that hole in the wall? Right there. Okay, but wait, you're not put off here. It's all gone to hell. There it is. Hello, Varovnir. Not voiced. Yep. Ah, 'tis the warrior of warriors and his companions. What bringeth you to mine abode? Pray forgive us for disturbing your recuperation, Varovnir. I hope your wound does not pain you overmuch. Didst thou imagine me close to death? The thrust was deep, but not mortal. I will heal in time. Full glad am I to hear it. You were the guest of honor at our conference, and we failed in our duty of protection. On behalf of Ishgard, I apologize unreservedly. I am a dragon full grown, and thou thought to protect me, mortal. I was tempered by the fires of battle ere thy great grandsire learned to crawl. Thy words do remind me of a knight whom I called friend some 1,000 years past. He swore to defend me from harm and hardship. Would that we could return to that era of peace, where man and dragon knew such comradeship. Would that our every effort to do so were not undone by ancient rancor. For a truth, there can be no peace while Nidhogg's shade yet lingereth. That much is plain, yet we lack the strength to banish him. Thus do we make for some owl to beseech the aid of your sire once more. Folly, thou knowest as well as I how he will answer. Hraesvelgur's heart remains unchanged then, a pity. But if it is folly to hope, I am content to die a fool. As hath ever been the way of thy kind, go then, but be warned, the Shade's presence hath driven his minions to frenzy. Thank you, Varovnir. We shall disturb your rest no longer. I really, back in my head, I really wanted to morph disturb into some old English bullshit. Lucia's report described Enoch's shrine in detail, but her words failed to convey the overwhelming strangeness of standing here in the... Oh, I know this word. Demence? Demence? It's like house or dwelling of dragons. David Option, you got anything else to say? 'Tis folly to believe thy words might sway the heart of my sire, yet I wish thee fortune in thy endeavor nonetheless. Thank you, Rodolfnir. What up, bro? Though I expected no better answer from Vodofnir, I take little pleasure from having been proven right. It would seem that our presence at Zenith will be every bit as unwelcome as I had anticipated. But what is the ire of one great worm to a trio of self-confessed fools such as ourselves? Let us begin our ascent. After you, Master Alvino. Scout ahead if you wish, Arantel. We shall join you outside Mogholm. Wait, next stop, Mogholm. Doing this with flying is gonna be so fucking weird. I actually didn't end up unlocking flying in the majority of regions until like after I'd beaten Shadowbringers. The Lord Commander seems lost for words. Nor can I blame him. I recall being similarly awestruck when I first beheld this vista. Oh. Nope, not voiced. The cinematography's wrong for it. I had heard tales of the world above the clouds, but never did I dream. One's mind paints a pale picture of its majesty. Few live to see such wonders. I am reminded of my first visit to this peak, when Estinian and Izael yet walked at our side. Is that you, Arantel? I'm not gonna get dragged into some bullshit, am I? It's my word of the day, isn't it? Ah, but isn't Mog... Don't tell me you've forgotten my name, after all we've been through together. It's Moglio, right? But at least you remember me. You do remember me, don't you, Arantel? It's... oh no, it's not Moglio. Shit. It's not Moglin, because that's the chief. Moghan? Phew, you seem a bit hesitant for a moment with the... Yeah, I wasn't guessing. It's basic... but I'm sure you were just finally recalling that time we camped near Zenith, right? But putting our shared history to one side, what brings you and your friends to Mogholm? We're gonna go beg a dragon to help us. It's not gonna go well, but we can try. Ah, another audience with old Hraesvelgr. Well, I hope you've brought the horn. With the winds as gentle as they are, a good loud toot should reach the Great Worm's ears easily enough. That is good to hear, Moghan. Thank you. We had best press on to Zenith while the winds are in our favor. This can only end well. Now that was unexpected. Chieftain Moglin will want to hear about this. Let me go. Hey, vaguely fitting. Only vaguely though. Let's be real here. Genuinely fitting would be if Midgard Somer was in my mount rotation, but he has generic music and as such is not. Pale excuse given the some of the other shit here with generic music, but you know. Okay. Oh, someone else on a similar journey. Except for them, it's likely their first time. Pray sound the horn, Arantel. We must win Hraesvelgr to our cause. Fail in this, and Ishgar's fate is all but sealed. Please target destination. There we go. This one's voiced, 100%. No way it's not. Look at that cinematography and tell me this cutscene is not about to be voiced. Oh, it's also got a dragon in it. Those are usually voiced. A great worm, I should actually say, because distinction is important. You dare summon me again, mortals.
Great Hraesvelga, 'tis not lightly that we beg this audience. Pray hearken to our words, for they concern the future of man and dragon both.
Greetings, Hraesvelga. I am Emmerich de Burrell, acting ruler of the nation of Ishgard. I am come before you to parley on behalf of my people.
I keep forgetting that I gotta manually tab through these so that I'm not constantly bringing up the autoplay menu so I can speak for Hraesvelgar. Alas, Hraesvelgar just speaks fantasy language, so I have no excuse not to read it. To parley, thinkest thou thy purpose unclear to me? Thou art come to beg mine aid in the battle against the shade of my brood brother. Dude's been alive for like...
Foresaw mine intent.
6-ish thousand years. Longer? I forget the timeline. Probably longer. It's like pre-Alag. But read that which is writ plain in thine eyes. Would read that which is writ yeah. Would that thou had wit enough to scry the answer in mine. My beloved Shiva did once build a bridge twixt man and dragon, a bridge which thy treacherous forefathers saw fit to tear down, as thou well knowest. Thinkest thou Nidhogg was alone and despairing at the murder of our brood sister? Thinkest thou mine own soul did not cry out for vengeance? Know then that upon that accursed day my heart did wither in my breast, and thy kind became unto me the harbingers of despair. It's only Shiva's gentle dream that preventeth me from flying at Nidhogg's shoulder. Be grateful that I swore to abjure aggression ere I consumed her. I permit my children to offer or deny thee aid as they see fit, to warn thy people of my brood brother's coming, that thou wouldst dare ask more of me, but affirmeth thine incurable arrogance.
We understand that in your despair at man's betrayal, you seek only the refuge of solitude. But despite your protestations of spent faith, do you not still nurture the smallest flame of hope?
Perceivest thou such light in the dusk of mine existence?
I do. If you claim I see falsely, then tell me. Why did you consent to bear a Zell upon your back?
Yselle, piteous, deluded Yselle, the child did lament her past sins and sought to balance the scales with her remaining days. 'Twas her unquenchable passion, so alike to that of my beloved, which did spur me into flight. And for mine own part, I would countenance no longer the hands of evil men use my brood brother's eyes for ill.
So you do distinguish between those who acknowledge and repent their sins and those who perpetuate them. Interesting. It seems to me that you have not, in fact, lost faith in mankind as a whole. Rather, you weigh our respective merits by how we allow the past to influence our future.
Spare me thine idle sophistry. Even were there a mote of truth in thy reasoning, what of it? Wouldst thou have me slay mine own sibling to save a city of mortals?
Should we suffer ties of blood to bind our hands, then? Nay, if the crime is one of unconscionable evil, we must needs condemn it, even should the transgressor be our closest kin. When my father corrupted himself and his followers with the power of a primal, I beseeched the warrior of light to slay him, an act alike to patricide. That he did not die by my hand matters little. If anything, it heaps greater disgrace upon my name. But had my father not fallen, he would have drawn countless thousands into a holy war of hellish proportions, which I hold the greater crime. Thus did I order his execution, sparing the lives of my people and yours. Alas, your brother Worm now prepares to murder those whom I sought to spare. What is more, he has taken my comrade's body for his own. But if I must slay my dearest friend to defeat my direst foe, I will not flinch from my duty.
Thou wouldst strike down thy friend, and by thy righteousness persuade me to break mine oath and kill my kindred. Hey, Bigard Silver. Don't worry about it, Emmerich. This is a thing. He's been around for a while. Heed me, my child. The servants of Hydaelyn envision a different outcome. They intend salvation not only for Ishgard, but for those of the doomed Dragon Slayer as well. Believest thou this shade to be Nidhogg returned? Is it not merely a manifestation of his vengeance, the shadow cast by thy brood brother's rage? I would not command thee, but ponder well thy course, lest it lead thee unto greater remorse. Aw, man. Aw, man. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I think that's what I said the first time too. I can imagine myself having chosen either option. You didn't hear that, it's fine. Nidhogg's transformation into rage incarnate is, in part, mine own doing. I rendered unto him mine eye, and empowered his revenge thereby. But 'tis the purity of my brood brother's wrath that lendeth him in all-surpassing might. Hast thou the strength of will to stand against so terrible a shadow? A shadow, I wonder. 'Twould seem I must put thee and thy companions to the proof. I shall await thee in the ruins wherein Ratatoskr once dwelled. Heed well the words of my children, and hasten thee to the place of thy trial. I'm gonna reread that dialogue box, because I wonder if that's the implication I think it is. I've just been hyper conscious this entire playthrough of like what stuff were like canonically soloed. And that text box may have implied that you don't canonically solo the trial. Okay. I believe I spied a wyvern landing just outside the palace. It is doubtless one of the children of whom Hraesvelgr spoke. Come, my friends, let us not keep our escort waiting. I didn't talk to Elephant. Oh, fuck. Damn it all. Oh well. If I miss one or two, it's better than skipping all of them, so... Oh yeah, event to... I always in the words well. Heed the words, my children, hasten to the space trial, yada yada. I guess this is and your companions, but I think that could just as easily be interpreted to mean Amarek and Alphina. So I'm not sure. I'll put this in the maybe bin. Maybe the Warrior of Light canonically solos. I think the dungeon is called Some All. I'll know in a second. For the sake of Ishtard, I shall overcome whatever trial is placed before me, and I have no doubt that you will do the same. Another day, another trial. Such ordeals must seem almost mundane to you by now. Would that I could say the same. How it goes. My brood mates, and I will bear you to the place of your trial. Make your preparations. Yeah, no, it's Sorkai. That's what it is. Oh, I shall take the potentially, maybe, probably not canonical path. I'm gonna solo it. It's totally not because I don't want to sit in queue for half an hour. There's no chance that's why I'm doing it this way. Okay, step one. I'm just gonna click this button, and then I'm gonna, yup, and then I'm gonna press every hotkey that isn't the right one. Take two. Do it right this time. There we go. See, only 3 wyverns. Therefore, canonically, it's only the Warrior of Light going through this. I've got arguments that we solo a lot of shit later as well, after the plot point comes in. But we got a long fucking time before we get there. We're probably going to be in like the mid-40s episode-wise, depending on how long I can keep my streams going. And I'm going to stream a lot more consistently once I actually have a proper space where I don't have to worry about sound so much. Ideally a better microphone as well, but that was a little less certain. No! Damn ball. I wanted to target the fan thing so I can cover more ground. Alas, I'm bad at the game. I can still pull the excuse that I'm not used to my new keybinds, because I almost never play Dragoon off stream. Okay, Moglin, let's see if you can survive longer than 30 seconds. He will eat an entire base rotation. I'm very impressed. Good job, Moglin. I really do enjoy Dragoon a lot. I just... relearning the buttons is... It's a lot. It's a lot. Box. I probably don't get already just one. I'm only grabbing them because they give me some small amount of functions. Grand Company. Chinese. Nice. This always was one of my more favorite dungeons of the series. And also reaching this dungeon really proves me how foolish the idea was that I was going to be able to reach self-control on first posts. And gone. Can you wait a minute? Thought occurs to me. No, you can't die them. Never mind. Take it back. Thou hast weathered my trial thus far, but I am not convinced. I will try thy limits. I don't even know if she bothered trying to read those, because I'm going to miss a bunch. Like Garen goddamn dude. It's definitely during the boss fight. He talks a lot during the boss fight, too. Hey, you can't see that. That's good. I'm about to frickin'... I'm about to be very annoyed at someone if they don't stop doing something in the server. I will say no more. It's getting really annoying. They changed the boss fight a lot. I don't think I like how they changed it. I don't hate it, but I feel like it lost a lot of its flavor when they Okay, just a moment. I gotta do something real quick before I lose my goddamn mind. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to mute a fucking channel before I lost what little remains of my sanity. It used to be that with this boss, can I? Interesting. I wonder if that would have killed me if I had to touch the open in the wheel pad. Oh yeah. It used to be that when he did this attack, it would destroy the platforms, and I kind of missed that. I thought it was a neat little detail. Like, if we're being entirely realistic here, it didn't affect very much. It certainly didn't affect me at all. But I don't know. I miss it. I don't like change. I also think that the last boss of Keeper of the Lake is a little disappointing. I really miss the old dragon mechanic that had, but they had to make it trustable. It's like, eh. Even bereft of an eye, my brother was a fearsome foe indeed. But having tasted thy strength firsthand, full well can I imagine how thou didst bring him low. The dreaded title of Azure Dragoon is no empty appellation. Very well. I shall trust in the seed of man one last time. By thy deeds shall the flickering hope that lingereth yet within my heart be kindled anew, or extinguished forever.
Your trial is ended as well, then?
Mine was brutal beyond reckoning. Vetfolnir seems ill-acquainted with the notion of mock battles.
That you yet stand is ready proof of your determination, mortals. Let us fight as allies then, and together banish my brute brother's vengeful shade. On my oath, the wrath that once was Nidhogg shall meet its end. This I swear on the memory of my beloved Shiva and on the soul of lost Yzael. Vitfolnir, cannot be faulted for effort. He is every ilm the proud warrior, or should I say every yalm. Ah! Haha! I don't need to catch it. God damn it, I ruined everything. Oh, my poor ribs. Hraesvelgr saw fit to pair me with Vidofnir? Oh, it is Vidofnir, okay. But her ferocity was such that I began to wonder if I hadn't simply imagined the injury. Yet my trial pales into insignificance next to yours. How fared you in your duel with Hraesvelgr? I take from this that your battle was rather more involved than mine own. Vitfolnir, seemed largely concerned with how long he could keep me rolling in the dust. Between dodging snapping fangs and slashing claws, I scarce had time to aim a blow. Had he truly meant to harm me, of course, I would not be standing here now. Plainly, his intent was to teach. His onslaught forced me to recall my training about the speed of dragons, his balance, his blind spots. It was, in short, a very thorough lesson. Hey, Moglin. Ow. Arantel, let me begin by congratulating you on the completion of your trial. For one with a name more befitting a jester, you fight with the savagery of a rabid demon. Do you see how my wings are crinkled? Even my palm aches. After this drooping, I fear my loyal subjects will have to bear the load of my personal chores for quite some time, possibly indefinitely. When I told you about Arantel's trial, I didn't mean for the rest of us to suffer. That's triple shifts for you, Moghan. Triple? That's not fair. There's no justice done at all.
Our negotiations proved rather more strenuous than I had anticipated, but the results seem well worth the effort.
The battle was indeed hard won. Thank you, my friends. I would never have earned Hraesvelgr's cooperation had you not seen fit to grant me yours.
I think the hard assist from Midgardsormr pulled the most weight here, but I'll take the compliment.
'Twas your stalwart heroism that moved the heart of the great worm at the
No,
last.
I'm pretty sure it was Midgardsormr, but
Full
okay.
reward for your continued service to Ishgard.
'Twould seem our final reckoning with the dread worm is at hand. I only wish we had some inkling as to when he means to strike.
God damn it, Alphino, you opened your goddamn mouth and look at look at where we are now.
Oh God.
Instantly summoned Nidhogg.
The cry heraldeth his coming. Nidhogg's shade hath taken wing.
It has begun. We must away to Ishgard.
Well, we all have the ability to use Aetherites, right? Instant teleportation. Don't even start running. I'll do the cast. We're in a party. It's fine. I pray we are not too late. Let's go! Ishgard will not last long against Nidhogg and his horde. We must away. Surely this is a canonical instance where we teleport, right? Or is Hraesvelgr gonna give us a lift? I forget. It's been a while. I'm leaning towards Hraesvelgr being a car. Hraesvelgr, how goes? Know you then what this roar portendeth?
Aye. I must return to my city without delay.
Hey, we fly there. Okay, that's nice. Then we shall lend you our wings. Let us meet with Nidhogg on the field of battle, and together bring an end to his wrathful song. Rafter, you sure you're good to fly? I think flying is gonna in dragons like being. You see, this style of dragon looks way cooler than this style of dragon. Goddamn, this style would offer your style of dragon. Vidfolnir is better than a Vidofnir. I'm sorry. Then of course all the great worms look amazing. Although I don't think we've ever seen Ratatoskr. I might be mistaken. But, like, you know, she's been dead for 2,000 years? 1,000 years? Somewhere in the ballpark? So, you know, she's not going to be a main, like a major character. I can understand why they wouldn't bother giving her a full-blown model. And I guess Midgard Somer's head looks a little weird, but, you know, it's meant to be a world serpent, so it fits. Oh, he's gone. It's over. That dude just got straight game over. I'm so ready to 1v1 Nidhogg. Just like the war implies.
We hold fast until the Lord Commander returns.
Oh shit. Come on aside.
We must hold.
Where are, like, the other scions and stuff? I would think that they would have gotten involved. Like, Shulk be throwing out some spells. I guess they're doing stuff inside the city.
Reinforcements! By the Fury, that one is the size of Nidhogg.
It is the size of Nidhogg, but they're for allies when you're good.
Lord Commander!
You are late, Warrior of Light.
I'm sorry, the dragon can only fly so fast. They forbade me from using the Aetheryte system. Anyway, who wouldn't pass up riding on the back of a great worm? Literally older than history itself. Wherefore standest thou with these vermin, brother? Abandon this war, shade. The suffering thou sowest serveth no end. The traitor's progeny have learned of their forefathers' betrayal and seek now to make amends with our kind. Never shall our Never shall our grief be assuaged, nor our loss forgotten, but reconciliation may yet halt the spread of this plague of enmity. Forsake thy vengeance and be at peace. What soft-headed ramblings are these? Thy dalliance with that vile maid hath robbed thee of thy wits. Mayhap her cloying perfume hath made thee forget the stench of our brood sister's life's blood. Thou darest speak thus of my beloved? Ah, so the flames of rage may yet be kindled. I feared thy heart's fire had long since gone out, but waste not thy fury on words, brother. Thou shalt have need of it for battle. Welcome to one of the best cutscenes in the entire game. I hope you enjoy. Believe it or not, Post Heavensward also has another of the best cutscenes in the entire game. This is later. Thou art weak, Hraesvelgr, a slithering worm who fawneth on the vermin who should rightly be his prey. For 1,000 years have I fought without cease, and thou didst think to prevail against me. Glory not in thy victory, Shade. The battle is not yet won. My power and my hope have I entrusted to another. Thine eye, what hast thou done? I am Azure Dragoon, version 2. Now infused by 2 eyes. Fool, thou wouldst trust a mortal with thy strength? Let me just, I'm just gonna put something in real quick, because I have a feeling I know what's gonna end up happening here. I'm gonna name this, temp, and we're gonna do
soul's cry, a passion welling within. Sacrifice, a binary to her kin.
okay. Then I just need to do this. There we go. Then I need to make it smaller, so it's not like literally the size of a fucking small continent. Okay. A little bit more. How fucking big is this? Uh-oh, I just broke it. Where'd it go? You there? I might need to... That's like legible. You can read that, I believe in you. I'm just gonna put this like right there. Perfect, beautiful, and I'll get rid of it later. I know thee, that 'twas thou who didst intrude upon my lair and best the half of me, but now I am whole, and naught in creation shall deny me my vengeance. Yeah, from everything I hear, SE really fucking hates when you play this song. And this song plays throughout the entire boss battle, so I want that there, for the VOD. Just, you know. Hopefully it doesn't get muted, but I have no faith in anything at all, period, in the story. Wait, what? Oh, son of a bitch! Wait a minute, this isn't the final steps of faith. What's going on? Okay. Here we go. It was gonna happen eventually.
Children of the land. Two souls in one true love they did find, bringing life.
Alright, let's go. And I press this button and get this button. I don't think it matters that much which one I focus down. In the EX version, you have to focus down this guy first, or else you will die. Even like maxed out, very nearly best in slot, they hurt. Bring it, Nicole. Unfortunately, Dragoon has no mitigation abilities. Other than Fate. I can't really use that right now. Let me target him. Let me target him. Damn wall. Really, I gotta get better about it's one of like the main issues I started to reteach myself. Good shit. This is actually a very fun boss fight to do sync. Most of them are. There's exceptions. But the battle against Nidhogg it's such a climactic and good moment. I think I can make I can hide this for a little bit. We should be out of the danger zone for about the next 5 minutes, and then we're right back into the danger zone. And I'll turn it back on as needed.
Estinian!
I'm so glad we're not dealing with dragons anymore, so I can actually turn on the autoplay.
Is this to be mine end?
Oh, maybe I can turn it on.
I will not allow it. I am of the first brood. I am vengeance incarnate. I am Nidhogg. Thou shalt die by my hand. This is not your hand, worm! Thou wilt.
Oh shit. Okay, they're not talking dragon speak.
One last favor of you, warrior of light. Finish me, now, while I have the beast subdued! You waste your time. Kill me! It is the only way! Ending Nidhogg will be my final duty!
No! You can't die like this! I won't let you!
Children of the land, truths that once rang clear, two souls intertwined, one true love they did find, bringing light and heaven's need. Memories dimmed by shadowed hearts. In the waxing gloom did wane the lover's moon, watching as their worlds drift apart. One soul's cry, a passion welling within. Sacrifice, a binary to
I'm excited for the 7.0 graphics update, just in the desperate hope that they'll actually, like, at least, like, among the other things, I so desperately hope they address all the textures where, like, you very closely zoom into them during cutscenes, but they're, like, Atari levels of pixelated. Like, I just, it hurts me deeply. Other stuff can be low res as needed. It's understandable, but oh my god, looking at those corruption patches where the eyes were on Justinian's armor is pain. Okay, I think we're almost out of the this fucker's muted territory. Yeah, okay, we're good for now. Even better is if it just doesn't get muted. I did it all for nothing. Everything is fine.
Lucia, summon the healers. I want them ready to receive him.
At once, Lord Commander.
Allow me to do this much.
That's 2 for 2. Our friends getting possessed by our most mortal enemy, and then coming back after the fact. I didn't realize that originally. That's kind of funny. Next question. Panic! Rack and ruin! The Horde have sensed the fall of their master and scattered to the winds.
You have my gratitude, Hraesvelgr. Your deeds this day have saved a great many lives.
Then our alliance hath served its purpose. Thou didst wield the power I granted thee well. 'Twas thine own skill and not mine eye which earned thee victory. Want that back, by the way? You still don't have... No, wait. Your eye. Come back. I wish thy companion a swift recovery. Fare thee well, child of man. Yeah, they don't show it. They don't show us... Okay, so for anyone watching, he does get his eye back from us at some point. No clue when, but it does happen.
The battle is won. We can do no more for Estinian now than bear him home and wish him well, even as Hraesvelgr did. The rest we must trust to the hands of the healers and the grace of the gods.
Did my text scroll speed get turned down? Wait a minute. The spinny wheel looked different. Anyway, there we go. Text is turned off. I don't think Dragon Song comes up again. At least not until like the credits. Through the haze of pain, I swear I sense... No, the past is done, and we must look to the future. At long last, Nidhogg is gone, and his foul spirit cast out once and for all. I only pray that Estinian survives the ordeal. Your battle with Nidhogg's shade will beget many an epic ballad, Arentel, and rightly so. It was, without a doubt, one of the more epochal victories. Though I must admit that I took greater joy in seeing you emerge from the experience unscathed. And not only for your own sake. Had you not been there to aid me, those infernal eyes would still be fused to Estinian's mail. Yet even with Nidhogg gone, I cannot help but wonder how much of our friend remains. Let us pay a visit to Lucia. Let us pay a visit to Lucia and beg news of his condition. Is this actually a faster path? Oh my god, I think it is. That's a neat glamour. I like that a lot, actually. Good on him. Arentel, Master Elfino, my honored friends, as if winning Hraesvelgr to our cause was not enough, you took it upon yourselves to rid us of his brood brother. I know not how to thank you. My own contribution was hardly noteworthy. The true saviors of the day were Arentel and Estinian. One triumphed over Nidhogg's shade through strength of arms, and the other through strength of will. And speaking of Estinian, what news of his recovery? As your dragoon was conveyed to the infirmary, where he now resides under the care of our hospitalier captain, I am told he is yet to regain consciousness. But as you know, Estinian's mind and body were held hostage for many days. We must be patient and allow the process of healing to begin. In the meantime, you would do well to rest and recover from your own ordeals. But surely, Sir Emmerich is never long from Estinian's bedside, and will send word the moment there are any developments. Now, if I have satisfied your concerns, I believe Lord Edmont and his sons are eager to celebrate your return. Very well, First Commander. Come, Arentel, it would seem that we are awaited at Fort Helm's Manor. Wait a minute. Pray call upon Lord Edmont. I gather Fort Helm's Manor holds its breath for your return. Vast vigil. Hello, Gatekeep. Good. A battle against mine own fine motor skills.
The heroes of the hour return.
We but did our duty, my lord. It was the memories of fallen friends and not our heroism which saw us through at the last.
Weird. Yeah, it's at max.
I gave every ounce of my strength.
Don't actually know if it affects
My
voice
efforts would have
cutscenes.
counted for naught had the Warrior of Light not arrived to challenge the Great Worm. As a sworn knight of Ishgard, I had hoped to do more for my city.
Well, we cannot all be heroes, dear brother. Let us put away our pride for a moment and revel in the valiant deeds of our comrade. For your sterling service to Ishgard, we salute you. And while we're on the subject of valiant deeds, I believe I myself have earned some small measure of recognition. Under my watchful command, the ballistas of the Outer Ward struck down a veritable swarm of Dravanian invaders.
My lord's command was certainly watchful. He bravely watched as the siege crews took aim, and continued to watch as countless wyverns met their end. Indeed, the ward's defenders proved so well drilled that my lord had little occasion to stop watching.
Fucking destroyed.
There will be time enough to determine who is most deserving of recognition later. Our friends are doubtless weary from their exertions. I had chambers prepared in expectation of your return. You are welcome to retire at your leisure.
It occurs to me that it is at least a little confusing as to why.
I'm most grateful for your hospitality, my lord, but I believe I shall pay a visit to the Temple Knight's Infirmary.
I do
Excuse
wonder
me.
why the inn room wasn't in Fort Hamps Manor. Of course, like, thematically it doesn't make sense. Like, all the inn rooms are actually literally
Our
in
Master
inns.
Alphinaud has grown. The plight of his stricken brother-in-arms
No,
pains
it's
him
not
more
true,
than
because
his
the
own
Endwalker
loss.
one isn't technically an inn. Why wasn't the inn
In which
in Fort
respect
Hamps
he has
Manor?
come to resemble you, Warrior of Light. Go then, visit the Azure Dragoon, and grant him what comfort you may.
I take back every compliment I've ever given this game. It's terrible and awful and evil. Bad game. I'm very petty. If my lord's irresponsible optimism were ever to fix upon something about which he had cause to be optimistic, I dare not think what he might achieve. Without the guiding hand of yours truly, House Hillionaire's famous dragon killers wouldn't have killed half so many dragons just now, as I shall be sure to tell my lady when next we meet. Go, Warrior of Light. We will not begrudge you the time spent at a comrade's sickbed. At long last, Nidhogg is gone. No true son of Ishgard could wish for more. Yet scores of my brother knights fell in the battle, and I find my joy tempered by their loss. Anything interesting to say? We pray for your safe return, Master Malfriend. If I might be so bold, welcome home. Neat. I don't think he'll say anything new. He's like a quest dispenser. Once more, you risk your life in service to Ishgard. We are forever in your debt. Well, I'm proven wrong, so we're moving on. Okay. Once more to the congregation of our Knights Most Heavenly. Where is it? Oh. Duh. Estinian is resting in our infirmary. The sick beds are our front line now, and the battle to save the wounded continues unabated. Arentel, my friend, what can I do for the savior of Ishgard? You seek Master Alphinaud. Ah, he came to relieve me of my vigil a short while ago. Well, he begged to sit at Estinian's side. I could not well refuse him. Wait. Though he would sooner faint than admit it, the boy must be exhausted by Hreysvelgur's trial and all that followed. Estinian is blessed to have such devoted comrades. No, we're not talking to him yet. Nope, nothing new. What about you? Though our principal foe lies defeated, we shall continue to keep order inside the walls and protect the citizenry. In that much at least, the duties of the Temple Knights remain unchanged. Ah. My own friendship with Justinian began some 10 years past, shortly after we joined the Temple Knights. I learned his name soon enough, but Justinian barely registered my existence. I was less a fellow recruit, and more a shadow which occasionally darkened his path. And so I might have remained, but fate not seen fit to intervene. While out on patrol, our company was set upon by a dragon, and we were the only two to survive. The experience forged a bond between us, such life-threatening situations are wont to do. Despite our friendship, he remained an intense and solitary youth, wholly obsessed with claiming vengeance against Nidhogg. Revenge was ever at the forefront of his mind, revenge for the death of his parents, and revenge for his younger brother. I would venture that in Alphinaud he sees something of his lost sibling. In the ungentle chidings of Justinian, Alphinaud has found the elder brother he never had. Truth be told, Justinian's tactless observations have saved me from disaster more than once, and I can well understand Alphinaud's affection for him. He is a friend for whom I would gladly... Lord Commander, your presence is required in the infirmary. Is he? Tell him I'm on my way. I get to rant about revenge narratives pretty soon. I'm kind of excited about that. Quickly, Arntel, we must go to him. Upon proceeding to the infirmary, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to review these cutscenes in their entirety. I will do this in a moment. I'm going to go set up a pot of coffee, walk around for a bit, and then I'll be back. Shouldn't be longer than like 5 minutes. 10 at an absolute stretch and all chaos breaks out. But back in just a moment. So, shall we away? So help me God, if you play fucking Dragon Song on this cutscene, I'm gonna lose my goddamn shit. Even more so if like I have fucking uploaded. No, it's fine. Dragon Song's fine now. Don't worry about it. You're totally okay. Like, fucking hell.
Estinian.
Ah, Panic was taking a sip of my drink. Is that all? Read. You stop it. I have over 3,000 hours in this game. You'd think I would know how to interact with the interface.
Cease your mewling, boy. It grates my ears.
Forgive me. When I saw you awaken, I could not... It was such a relief. We feared you might never wake up.
Now, Estinian. If Master Alphino thought any less of you, you would still be Nidhogg's plaything. Or dead.
Aye, 'twas but a jest. I thank you, Alphino. And you too, Warrior of Light. Quite how you managed to persuade Hraesvelgr to aid in his brood brother's downfall I cannot imagine. But full glad am I that you did. 'Tis an honor to share the mantle of Azure Dragoon with one such as you.
I, for my part, owe you an apology.
It's
When
also
last we met, I
a
did
big
willingly lose
reveal
some
that
arrow to
Estinian
your
had
heart.
long fucking hair under that helmet.
Can you forgive me?
There is naught to forgive, Hameric. You but acted in defense of Ishgard as is your duty. Were you any less single-minded about it, I would not follow you into battle, nor trust you at my back. Besides, I had come to the selfsame conclusion, that I would have to perish for Nidhogg to be stopped. So let us dispense with the hand-wringing. I have heard enough mewling for one day.
Oh!
The tendrils of Nidhogg's foul presence bound up every fiber of my being, usurping my senses, but I yet retained some trace of awareness. The worm's mind was as a vast and tumultuous sea. Endlessly its black waters churned, his grief and despair at Ratatoska's murder never calming, never receding. Driven by this surging current came wave upon wave of unrelenting rancor. It was the very image of my own heart. There I saw the dark reflection of the hatred I felt after Nidhogg slew my family, when no path remained save vengeance against dragonkind. Neither one of us had a choice. But I was blessed with something Nidhogg was not. Comrades and teachers to console and admonish me. Had I not had them to gainsay my obsession, it would surely have consumed me as Nidhogg's did him, and we would have been in all respects alike. Though his shade is banished, his spirit scattered upon the sea of clouds, I feel no joy at his passing. Where once I craved vengeance, I now crave rest. Lord Commander. My hunt is at an end. I would lay down the mantle of Azure Dragoon.
My friend.
He has tired himself with too many words. I doubt not that he will make a full recovery, but he must be allowed some few days of quiet.
You know, I was all like pumped up to like really get in deep with how Estinian and Nidhogg parallel each other so well in their hunts for vengeance, completely forgetting that no, the game just comes straight out and says it in very clean English. That I don't really think I could add anything to it, unfortunately.
I too must see my path to its end. Sleep well, my friend.
I love the way the writers handle Estinian and Nidhogg and very much the rest of the game, with very few exceptions. It's very, very, very well handled.
Following the battle with Nidhogg on the Steps of Faith, Sir Emeric called an assembly that he might make his final proclamation as acting head of state. 'Twas there, with one decree, that the 1,000-year rule of the archbishops was ended, paving the way for a new republic. The governance of Ishgard would now be placed in the hands of high and lowborn alike, their ranks represented by the newly founded House of Lords and House of Commons.
The French people become more French.
Church was
Funny how that
separated
works.
from state. The foundation for change had been carefully laid, and the reforms proposed by Ishgard's new government passed into law without incident.
No, like seriously, like Ishgard is very France, like, at least old France, based on the history lessons I had
Only to be raised
half a decade ago. Oh my god, oh, I'm getting old.
Though he strove at first to refuse this honor, the unexpectedly strident voice of the Count de Durandare left him little choice but to accept. And so it was that the winds of gentle revolution came to stir.
No one's eating cake. Very good, very good. This is a good sign.
Prominent among the many honored guests at Sir Emeric's investiture were the ambassadors of Dragonkind, a fitting symbol of Ishgard's newfound peace.
Hey, it's Lily again. What a callback.
The people looked on in awe as he soared through the heavens on Dragonback. And by their cheers did they hail him an Azure Dragoon for a new age.
So with that, yeah, about the mic, I don't know how badly that came through, but you know, I gotta address these things.
Thus were the notes of the dragon song rewritten. The din of war, giving way to a rising litany
Oh shit, he's still
of
missing the
peace
wing piece. Oh, that's some nice attention to detail. And he does have his eye back in this cutscene, so I guess we give it back to him when we fly with him and for this cutscene. Sure, I can accept that. Perhaps that is explicitly why this cutscene is here, is to like indirectly imply, yes, you did give the eye back. Don't worry. You're not hoarding the eye. I guess MIDI or I guess Racefolger just forgot it for a minute. It's fine. Don't worry about it. What a solid end for the Heavensward saga. Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. I was gazing out at the sea of clouds in all too rare a moment of idleness, when I chanced to behold a certain hero wending his way towards the city on Dragonback. Welcome home, Arentel. Nay, 'twas no grave matter that moved me to greet you in person. Between you and me, I merely sought respite from the pressures of office. No sooner did I surrender my role as temporary head of state than I am burdened with the position of more permanent responsibility. I fancy that it echoes in some small measure the way you must feel when your imporable feats of heroism are rewarded with still more imporable challenges. The myth which guided our society for generations lies in tatters. I am then to be scorned for building upon the system of nobility that I once sought to tear down. And what strange jest is this that places me at its pinnacle, an archbishop's bastard at the head of the House of Lords? But these questions are for me to answer. It is not in man's nature to change overnight. This I learned through painful experience, and it was this hard lesson which convinced me to take the path which we now follow. Even as we rebuild the bridge between man and dragon, so must we reimagine Ishgard, one carefully placed stone at a time. We must remember that it is not for us that we lay this groundwork, but for the men and women that our children will become. May their towers rise proudly from the fundament of our legacy. I hear word from Captain Whitescape that Estinian has vanished from his sick room. His willfulness survives undiminished. Should you ever happen upon our unmannerly friend on your travels, pray assure him that I shall keep Ishgard safe until he deigns to come home. Thank you, Arentel, and please convey my warmest regards to Master Elfino. And back to Fort Thomas Manor. Yeah, I just straight up skipped the goddamn Aetheryte. Fucking genius that I am. Ah, that's what cool. You saved the day again, Arentel. Not that I ever doubted you would. I'm not going to bother talking to the manservants again. I'm sorry, I can't. I just can't. You spoke with Sir Emmerich and do not envy him his new position. Ishgard has chosen a new road, one littered with the detritus of 1,000 years of broken faith. Yet though her people may stumble from time to time, I know of none better than Sir Emmerich to lead the march of progress. As for now, there remains the small matter of ushering in a new dawn in the shadow of inscrutable Ascian machinations and a seemingly endless procession of primals. But we too must walk our chosen path, no matter how treacherous the footing. In the wake of Ishgard's governmental reform, new airship routes have been sanctioned. You may now travel to a selection of yada yada yada. You can go to, like, the main cities now, I believe. Or brother, this is the unlock point for that. I think. I may be wrong. It didn't actually list the places you can go, so who knows. Sus. Shrek is looking in the ravine. Silly ogre forgets that it's not his swamp. Thank you, Bland Hairs. I'm going to stick with that. Nay, you need not remain there. We shall rendezvous at our usual place. All is proceeding as expected, then. Aye, there is naught to concern us, aside from one overly curious mouse. Open. This way. Oh boy, I wonder who that was. Him again. It is of no moment. They will play their part, and we will play ours. Oh, I know where this is. It's in the Sylphlands. There's a fate that spawns around there. And thus did grey mists give way to azure skies. Man and dragon rise above, voices join in song, but beneath shrouded boughs, beyond the scope of light, shadow stirs. I could have read that a little bit slower. I was terrified that I was gonna fucking miss it. Okay, hey, that ends part 3. Good shit. On to part 4. Wait, part 4. Let's fucking go. Okay, I want to at least get to Zelphatol. The Zelphatol is my goal. If I hit Zelphatol before the after the 3-hour mark, then I will be very happy, and I will probably end the stream after that. But we'll get there when we get there. Master Malfriend, you are come at a most excellent time. An invitation to a truly preeminent personage has God damn, I can't read. An invitation to a truly preeminent personage was delivered to the manor but a short while ago. Would that you had been present to receive it, but in any event. Sir Emmerich de Borel, Lord Speaker of the House of Lords, that feels a little redundant, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights, even more redundant, and Viscount of House Borel, cordially invites Master Malfriend to dine with him at his estate. You seem surprised. The messenger assured me that his lord had broached the subject with you at an earlier date, when the arrangements for the peace conference were still being finalized. Of course, the intervening moons afforded little opportunity for leisure, but with the happy advent of peace, 'tis plain the Lord Commander sees no further cause to delay. What say you? Fuck yeah. I should be glad to accept. Indeed, who would not? You will forgive me if I seem envious. Ahem. I shall send word of your acceptance to Boral Manor at once. When you are ready, pray report to the Astrologicum. They will have someone escort you the rest of the way. Oh boy, I'm gonna put on my fanciest duds. I keep pressing the record button. What is wrong with me? Yes, this'll do. Sure, why not? This is fine. My, fucking gathering apparel. I cannot mount, as such am shrouded in sorrow. It is funny. I suppose it is. I don't really have any of the like traditional Final Fantasy players' glamour. All of my glamour is very meant to kind of stay in theme with the class. Greetings and well met, Master Melfran. I have the honor and privilege to serve as head steward of House Boral, though admittedly our staff is somewhat smaller than those of other noble families, being countable on one hand. My lord will be overjoyed to hear that you have accepted his invitation. As you will soon see, we have spared no expense. I dare say a man of action such as yourself enjoys nary a moment's respite. Aye, the battlefield beckons even now. I'm sure, but for this day, we bid you lay down your burdens and raise a glass to peace and prosperity. Let's go.
To think the Moogles would prove such harsh taskmasters. Forgive me. I did not know you had suffered so in your quest for the Horn. I must say, your spirited accounts always come as a welcome change from the arid reports which fill my days.
Yeah. No fancy drinks, please. Only water. Last time I had anything else didn't end very well for me. Fucking war flashbacks. You see the fucking disconcern in the player character's face.
I've lived in these lands my entire life. To hear you speak of them, there is much and more I have yet to see. Truly, yours was a marvelous journey.
Oh man, what's a good one? Though perhaps a bit long for my liking. Yeah.
Long and arduous, aye. Not unlike the journey that Ishgard has at last embarked upon, thanks to the efforts of you and yours.
Don't go downplaying your part, Emmerich. You did stuff. You did more of the boring stuff, to be frank. And more important, at that? Yeah. That is the word.
By your deeds, you have helped us to lay the foundation for lasting reform. The formation of the Republic is but the beginning, for it is not only our system of governance which must needs change. We, the people, must learn to let go of our hatreds and rise above our bloody past. I only pray that I live long enough to see us achieve some measure of success, that I might know the lost did not die in vain. I can still see you there on the steps of faith, striding fearlessly towards the worm. If you could do that, who are we to balk at the challenges ahead? The question of how best to strengthen ties with the other great nations of Eorzea has been debated at length in the Lords and Commons of late. As you may imagine, maintaining stability during this period of historic upheaval is our paramount concern. Nevertheless, we are greatly indebted to the Alliance for their support during the Grand Melee, and it would be remiss of us not to repay their faith in kind. Of course, we owe you the greatest debt of all, and it is my hope that in extending our support to you and the Scions, we might also express our gratitude to our neighbors, nay, our fellow Eorzeans, whom we pray you will continue to protect. The Lords and Commons agree on very little, but not a soul in either house begrudges your order this offer of patronage. For all you have done and will do, we thank you. May I ask a personal question?
Of course, why not?
Now that the dust has settled, what will you do? Not as a scion, I mean, but what do you want for yourself?
I don't know, maybe like some crafting, get a house, swap to another version of reality
Lord
for a
Commander,
bit.
pray forgive the interruption.
Called data. Oh, okay, never mind.
News from House Fulton.
An urgent message for the Warrior of Light. I was instructed to deliver it without delay. Master Thancred returned to the manor a short time ago, bearing an injured maiden.
Oh?
Master Leveilleur and Mistress Tataru are tending to her wounds, but they like not her chances. Respectfully, my lord, they have requested the Warrior of Light's immediate presence.
Uh-oh.
You must go to them, my friend, and I shall go with you.
Okay, also have White Mage. We'll cast in a sooner. I'm sure it'll all be fine. Couple of cures, cure 1 or 2. Probably cure 2, just be safe.
For every ending marks a new beginning.
Who is this?
From tragedy and sacrifice, we rise to greet a new dawn. As did he.
This isn't Alphino. The enunciation is all wrong. It's not.
Only
It's not
to be drawn unto another battlefield, another cause, as if by fate.
It's not him, because it's not the same voice actor. Simple as. I'm not sure what character that's supposed to be. Sorry for that. Welcome, Master Mal. Yeah. All the same fucking thing. I should have moved into different armor. Oops. I'm sure I'm not going to keep forgetting. There's no chance of that. I guess he's still in his house clothes. It fits. Ooh, it's Elze. I totally didn't know that. Very surprised right now.
Is that
It's Alphino.
Alize?
He's cloned himself.
Alphino's twin sister. She ran afoul of the Warriors of Darkness.
Oh shit.
I had been tracking them since the ceremony at Falcon's Nest. Little did I know I was not the only one. Evidently, she had learned of their activities and attempted to shadow them on her own. Poorly. I rescued her in the Twelveswood, and together we fled north. But though I made every effort to cover our tracks, they caught up with us on the Ishgardian border. And in the ensuing struggle, Alize took an arrow to the shoulder. It was only after we had made good our escape that I realized it was poisoned.
Thank you for coming so quickly. And you, Sir Emmerich.
Think nothing of it. How is she?
We have done all we can for now. Although the immediate danger has passed, the poison yet lingers in her blood.
I just saw my fucking bitrate drop to nothing. We good? I mean, everything looks fine now. My stream and my phone looks like it's going okay. I'm gonna assume we're good. I'm gonna assume we're good, and I hope I'm not wrong.
We came to Eorzea together, hoping to bring salvation to the realm our grandfather gave his life to protect. But when confronted with the bitter realities of its politics and its petty powermongers, she was driven to anger and to doubt. She refused to become embroiled in what she termed Eorzea's squabbles and distance herself from the Scions. Though she remained hopeful of a brighter future, she would walk her own path. Would that it had not been so perilous. For all our differences, she's as dedicated as any Scion to the salvation of Eorzea. But more than that, she is my sister. To be reunited with her, only to lose her forever. Gods, even to speak the words.
Take heart, Master Alphino. She will be attended by our most skilled chirurgeons. Bear Mistress Leveilleur to the infirmary at once. Apprise Captain Whitecape of the situation, and inform him that she is to be treated as my personal charge.
Alphino, is the Warrior of Light... is he with you? Don't go, there is something I must say. The Warriors of Darkness are in league with the Ascients. Slaughtering the Primals is but the first step in their plan. They make for Zelvatol to bring about Garuda's summoning and to kill her. You must stop them.
I shall inform
I knew I'd be
others at
reaching his
once.
Alpha Toll tonight.
Master Thancred, I would ask that you accompany Mistress Leveilleur to the infirmary. Your knowledge of her injuries may well prove useful in determining her treatment.
Of course.
I'm gonna guess as soon or quick I can do that with like no effort. benefits being a white mage, right? Does it or does it not have a blue bar? Surely they won't let her. Yes, I know. We must trust in Captain Whitecape and his Chirurgeons. Did they not bring Estinian back from the very brink of death? I am uncomfortably reminded of how he mocked me for praying at his bedside for days on end. What say you, my friend? Shall we turn our attention to a matter whose conclusion we have yet the power to influence? So the war. Oh no! Okay, caught it. We're good. So the Warriors of Darkness and the Ascians are conspiring to bring about Garuda's summoning, that they might put her to the sword. Then when we first encountered them and lost Athnath, when they were confronting Ravana, gods, has this been their aim all along? What do you intend to do, Master Alphino? There is much and more I do not understand, but I know this: a primal summoning cannot be ignored. Alisaie risked her life to uncover this plot, and we squander her gift at our own peril. Arantel, will you accompany me to Zelphatol and help me stop the Ixal's ritual? Yeah, so we get into some actual armor first. Given the Ishtar shares a border with the Ixal homeland, we have a vested God, what is wrong with me? We have a vested interest in the outcome of this ritual. We have been willing to suffer the Beastmen's intrusions into Cortland lands to a point where the summoning of a primal is an escalation we cannot abide. You shall have our fastest airship, Master Alphino. The mountains of Zelphatol are not easily traversed, and this endeavor demands all haste. The gesture is most appreciated, Sir Emmerich, but I fear an aerial approach is destined to fail. This is their homeland, after all, and Exil... Drillgables, what? Are not to be underestimated. What the fuck is that word? No, experience tells me the only conceivable approach is by land. I believe it would be wiser to cross into Zelphatol by way of the mountain pass east of Camp Dragonhead. In that case, I shall send instructions for a contingent of the camp's knights to be placed at your disposal. They will secure you safe passage through the mountains and escort you thence to Zelphatol. Though my men are unqualified to confront a primal, they are more than capable of contending with the Ixal. We should be glad for their assistance, Lord Adamant. In the event Mistress Alisaie regains consciousness, we will share with you any additional information she may provide. May the Fury watch over and keep you safe. Then let us be off. We can procure any additional supplies we require in Camp Dragonhead. Okay, where is... There we go. See, all fixed, except for the visor. Visor open again. We're good. Have you everything you require then? Excellent. Hi, skipped the dialogue box, didn't I? The entrance to the pass is north of Natalan and due east of Camp Dragonhead. Though it is normally guarded by a score of Ixal warriors, I have been informed that House Fortom's knights have already dispatched them. The enemy's gate lies open. We need but walk through. Beyond this gate lies the trail which led us into Zelphatol. According to my map, it looks to be a relatively straightforward route, albeit one through exceedingly dangerous territory. Please, thank you. We have everything in hand here, sir. No need to worry. You may say, and may I say, what an honor it is to work with you, sir. Thanks, I guess. Master Malfred, no. As you can see, the gate is ours. Please continue to please. Be advised that our scouts are reporting increased activity around the first mountain. Simply put, they are up to something, and you don't want anyone interfering. We stand ready to escort you to Zelphatol and aid you as you see fit. Given the numbers we are likely to encounter, a two-pronged approach may be best. While the knights and I feign a larger attack to draw the excess attention, I suggest you and yours attempt to slip past their defenses and locate the site of the summoning ritual. If the gods are good, you should only have to deal with some few patrols, but if they are not, you may be forced to do battle with the Warriors of Darkness. This is not one we canonically solo. I believe the you and yours kind of implies, right? Unfortunately, and I hate to do this, I do need a moment to walk around and stuff. I gotta deal with something, but I shouldn't be gone over long. Then we can get through Zelphatol and a bit further past that. So back in a few minutes. Okay, let us be on with it. Let's not re-enter the final steps of faith. There we go. Let's go. Frog doing frog things. Absolutely AFK screen. Shit. Fixed it, we're good. Panic. Rack and ruin. Falling. I don't see like cannon fire not going off, so like what's triggering that? Curious. That toad actually get hit by a fucking environmental effect? I didn't. I wouldn't know where that was a thing that could happen. Holy shit. Oh, big F. He has mechanics, I swear. Benefits of running this on sync go to all hell. If only the trust weren't so much slower running it with natural party, I might actually consider that on stream. Box. Key. It is a little interesting that I never really stopped to consider my first time through the moral implications of exactly what we're doing. In that, like, you would have at least some difficulty arguing that the Warrior of Light is right in what they're doing here. Like, stopping a primal summoning is very important. It's abjectly bad for the realm. But we're literally just marching into their fucking house and murdering everyone we see. Like, that's not good. That is definitively bad. Hey, that's not fun. He's not dead. There he goes. Didn't even get a chance to spawn in the enemies. Holy shit. I know those things didn't have very much health, but holy fuck. Stay aligned for my AoEs, you feathery bastards. Nice. I'm actually getting marginally better at doing my rotations. Marginally. Not significantly, but at least I'm weaving more consistently. That's mainly what I mean. I'm weaving more consistently. Rotation be damned. At least I'm like using my abilities in the right fashion. More or less.
Thank the gods! What happened? So they were unable to see the ritual to its completion. Then Garuda is no longer a threat, and whatever the Asians and the Warriors of Darkness were planning has come to naught. But we should not tarry. The knights have secured our path to safety.
Well, well. What do we have here? You'd better not have killed the primal without us.
That doesn't sound like the warrior of light. I don't know who that sounds like, actually, honestly. It's probably, Shrek, honestly. Honestly. Something, verbal crutch.
You!
Wait, I know you. Still walking, I see. I could have sworn my aim was true.
Just what is your game? Leading us the long way so these fools could step in and claim our prize?
No?
No. Let's not make hasty accusations. By the look of things, the ritual was proceeding as planned. We arrived at the appointed hour. 'Twas they who erred.
It is hopeless. We cannot face them all.
I wouldn't be so sure. They're pretty cool.
Do mine ears deceive? A boy! So that's the way of it. Twins! You had me worried for a moment there.
Fuck you, person whose name I know.
Know that I will happily make it quicker for you. If you just stand still.
Enough, Jarumul. We wouldn't want to upset the man in white with any unnecessary bloodshed now, would we? You've been awfully busy since we were kind enough to spare your lives.
Whose voice was that? It's not the warrior of darkness.
While you were idly consorting with the Asians, you mean? 7 hells! What could you possibly hope to achieve?
Should I explain it to you? Very well. Consider it a reward of sorts for beating us here. You know the tale of Hydaelyn and Zodiac, I take it? Of the Great Sundering and the reflections it created?
Across 10 and 3 they were divided. Reflections of the source, each possessed of shards of light and dark.
Just so. One of those reflections, the one nearest to the source, is our home.
and we were the heroes blessed with her light. But not all worlds hold light and dark in equal measure. In ours, the power of light was greater by far. So the Ascians, who once threatened our home, were no match. And they fell before us, one after another, till none were left. Victory, we thought. And then came the light. A flood of pure, blinding radiance, annihilating shadow and color and life itself. Ere long, it will consume our world, leaving naught in its wake but blank perfection.
That cannot be. Do you honestly expect us to believe such a story?
Believe what you like. But it has happened before, on a world far removed from ours. The 13th, which was swallowed by the dark and transformed into what you call the Void. Unchallenged light would condemn us to a similar fate. And so we joined hands with our former enemies, and with their aid came here, to the Source. For there is but one way to restore the balance and save our home. The Ardor. Calamitous destruction with the power to break down the barriers between planes and see our worlds rejoined.
You would doom our world to save your own? What would even become of us? Of you?
Enough. I tire of talking. You know our cause. You know what is at stake. We are prepared to do whatever it takes. Are you?
If there is aught you would say, say it. Otherwise, begone. You have no friends here.
That's some nice foreshadowing. Oh, that's good. I like that. That's good. All quiet here, sir. Nary a peep from the birdmen. Well fought indeed. Lord Edmont will be pleased to learn that everything went according to plan. All things considered, we should be grateful to have survived that encounter. Do you think that it could be true, that to save their world, they must bring ruin to ours? Aw, damn it all. No, it matters not. Such wanton destruction is beyond justification. Whatever their reasons, they must be stopped. The sacrifice, the loss, it ends here. Forgive me, this is neither the time nor the place for idle introspection. The knights can appraise Lord Edmont of our success, and we, the Lord Commander. More importantly, I should like to see if my sister's condition has improved. You may take a moment for yourself if you wish. I will be at the congregation. God fucking damn it! I'll be at the congregation. What is wrong with me? Holy shit. Front line. Ah, there you are. Shall we make our report? It brings me joy to see you safely return to us, Arental. What news from Zelfdal? Then we were not too late. On behalf of Ishgard, I offer you my dearest thanks. As for we who remained behind, Mistress Y'shtola has been tending to Mistress Alizé in your absence, and I am pleased to report that she has regained consciousness. I imagine you have many questions, especially given your recent encounter with the Warriors of Darkness. I know I do. Come, let us show you to her room. Do not worry, her condition is much improved. She is a resilient one, much like her brother. Sorry.
Alize, how are you feeling?
Well enough, brother. Thanks to the kindness of our hosts. When they told me you had departed for Zelfatol, I found that I could rest. The outcome seemed a mere formality, as did your safe return. Thank you, my friend.
I take it your mission was a success.
See, moments like these, the moments wherein Alize actually knows who the fuck you are, is why I think that the Coils of Bahamut should be made like mandatory content after they rebalance this, that it's like at normal mode level. Because like as it stands right now, it's just not feasible for complete new players to get through it, realistically speaking. Let alone free trial players who don't even have a reliable mode of like getting, like, for instance, a level 90 character to like burst them through it. The story in the Coils of Bahamut is just entirely too important for the MSQ for it to not be redone and reworked somewhat, and then made reworked somewhat, made available or made mandatory, and then added into the raid roulette or something.
But to save another world? I think not.
I too thought his story fanciful at first, but it is possible there may be a kernel of truth in all of this. At the very least, none of his claims contradict the word's account.
You were following these people, Alize. Why?
During my travels, I had oft enjoyed tales of the Scions and their exploits. But after a time, I began to hear whispers of a gifted and theretofore unknown band of adventurers. Adventurers who had supposedly sworn to travel the realm slaying primals in the Scion's stead.
The Warriors of Darkness. And in the course of investigating these rumors, you stumbled upon the Ascians' involvement.
Yes, exactly.
Forgive me, but if these Warriors of Darkness mean to bring about another calamity, to what end do they hunt primals?
To prompt an escalation. To deepen the Beast Tribe's feelings of helplessness and despair, and thereby drive them to summon ever more powerful gods. And lest we forget, these events do not occur in isolation. With their patron deities being slain left and right, the news of man's victory over Nidhogg must surely have sown panic in the minds of the Beastmen. 'Tis no wonder they wish to defend themselves.
Power answered with greater power, death with more death. A vicious cycle fueled by fear and hatred. I know it's like all too well.
Indeed. The Ascians sow discord and desperation, and the Warriors of Darkness reap the harvest. And so it continues.
It's an interesting aliasing line.
Yet that is not the extent of their ambitions. The Ascian himself observed that once the powerless realize that the old gods have failed them,
what's going on there?
They will have little recourse but to look to a new one.
That's fucking weird as shit. What's wrong with you,
cannot let that happen.
It should come as no surprise, but Alize and I have uncovered evidence that the Ascians have been manipulating certain parties to ensure that a constant stream of crystals flows into the hands of the Beast Tribes. If we sever these supply lines, we should at least be able to slow the escalation.
Agreed. Kral and I shall journey to Zelfatol and learn what we can of the Ixal's source.
Then I, for my part, pledge to lead a similar investigation into the origin of the Nath supply.
Sir Emmerich?
As a member of the Eorzean Alliance, Ishgard is honor-bound to play an active role in maintaining the security of the realm. You might also say that I have some personal motivation, given the Ascians' dealings with my father. However, I make no secret of the fact that my knowledge of primal beings is scant at best. As such, I should be most grateful if one of your order were to assist me.
Allow me, Sir Emmerich. I have dealt with the Nath before.
Let us consult with Orianja then. Given his dedication to the study of primal beings, I should be surprised if he could not tell us something of value.
I'm so confused.
Allow me to accompany you, brother. And before you think to refuse, know that I am not the girl I once was. I shall not be a burden. You have my word.
But Alize,
They almost never pronounce the R, so I'm still confident in my pronunciation of Orianja. But just time and time again, my confidence in pronouncing any word, even vaguely connected to the Elzen, is diminished.
Set us upon this path.
Constantly. Non-stop. More and more. There's barely any left. I don't think there's any left.
I'm afraid I can't allow you to leave just yet. Not until you try on the new outfit I prepared for you.
Next thing I know, they're going to be pronouncing the D in Alpha now. To think that the three of us plumbed the depths of the coils and confronted Bahamut himself. Had I not been there, I would struggle to believe it. Shortly after we parted ways, I heard that she had taken to the road on her own, apparently on a journey of self-discovery. Precisely where to I never learned, though I suspect that was by design. So she enjoyed hearing tales of her exploits, did she? My apologies for keeping you waiting. The twins are now visually distinct. Thank God. Right then, shall we be off? Jotaro never ceases to impress, though for a moment I feared she might furnish you with an identical outfit. Praise the 12, she did not. Mother and father were rather too fond of making us wear matching clothes. Do you remember the time at the studio when that girl of yours crept up behind me in the hall and whispered, "Sister, please, she was not my... Can we not have this conversation in front of the Warrior of Light?" So be it. Another time, perhaps. To be honest, Arntel, I was planning on seeking you out just yet. When I set forth on my journey, I did so with grand ambitions, and as you may recall, I promised I would not disappoint you. I pray you will forgive me if I do. I'm meaning to ask about the carriage. I'm not entirely sure what that means. A pleasure to have you with us. What does that mean? Is it referencing the carriage at the start of the game? That doesn't seem right. Or maybe, I don't think she was with us at the end of ARR. Or does that imply that she was the one who organized the carriage that saved us at the end of ARR? New garments aside, I must say that you seem different, more resolute than when we last met. You have the look of a woman who is ready to fight for the future of Eorzea. The extent of my abilities, perhaps, but I have no delusions of grandeur, nor will I pretend to have found myself or any such thing. I'm here today because I would regret if I weren't, that is all. Fair enough. Let us depart for the Waking Sands, then, and see if Orianja can be of assistance. So, I think with this prey return to the Waking Sands, dear God help me, I think it's a pretty good place to call it. We finished this Alpha. I've kind of met my goals, and my chair is getting very uncomfortable. So, again, I wanted here. We got to where I wanted. I kind of wanted to stream for longer. As usual, circumstances do not permit. Thus is life. But, I want to thank anyone for watching who was watching, or listening who is listening, or whatever other means by which you are consuming this. I will be back soon, hopefully before the end of the week, but I know better than to make such promises. But, until I stream again, have a good one all.